Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Ballabha Girivardhari Gopijana Ballabha Girivardhari Shodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Shodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sari Gora Bhaktivinoda Nityananda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Shishi Gora Nitai ki jai, Jai Shishi Radha Govardhana Jai, Krishna Balaram Jai, Giri Govardhan, Vrinda Devi Tulsi Devi Maharani. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shishi, Guru and Gauranga, Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna, everybody's a bit louder. Please. Today we are reading from the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. We are on the Adi-lila chapter 9, verse 26, I think is up there. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Binda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Binda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Binda. This is text 26. Mula Skandera Saka Ala Upasaka Gane Lagi-laye prema pala amrita ke jine Mula skandera sakahara upasakat kane Lagi-laye prema pala amrita ke jine Mula skandera saka ala upasakat kane Lagi-laye prema pala amrita ke jine. Others, please. Lagi-laye prema pala amrita ke jine. Skandera sakala upasakagane
Lagi-laye prema pala amrita kejini
Lagi-laye prema pala amrita kejini. Vaishnavis, please. Mula skandera sakala upasakagane
Lagi-laye prema pala amrita kejini
Lagi-laye prema pala amrita kejini. Where's Gane? Is Gane? What's written? Yes, N. Yeah, Gane. So what's it got up there? P, is it? No, there you go. New word for the Bengali language. This is a word for word. Mula skandera, of the chief trunk. Saka, branches. Ara, and. Upasaka Gane, sub-branches. Lagi-la, as it grew. That. Prema Pala, the fruit of love. Amritake jine. Such a fruit conquers nectar. Okay, this chapter is entitled, what's it called, the tree? Pardon? It doesn't say in the book here what it's called. The desire tree of devotional service. Okay, this has no purport, so we'll go on to text 27. Palika de prema pala amrita madura vilaya Caitanya mali nahi lai mula. Fruits ripened and became sweet and nectarian. The gardener, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, distributed them without asking any price. Text 28. Ti jagate jat ache dhamara mani eka patea mulakari taha nahi gani. Translation: all the wealth in the three worlds cannot equal to the value of one such nectarian fruit of devotional service. Text 29. Mage vana mage keha patra va apatra iya vichara nahi jane deya matra. Translation: not considering who asked for it and who did not, nor who was fit and who unfit to receive it. Caitanya Mahaprabhu distributed the fruit of devotional service. We'll do this translation repeatedly. Not considering who asked for it and who did not, nor who was fit and who unfit to receive it. Caitanya Mahaprabhu distributed the fruits of devotional service. Purport: this is the sum and substance of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. There is no distinction made between those who are fit and those who are not fit to hear or take part in the Sankirtan movement. It should therefore be preached without discrimination. The only purpose of the preachers of the Sankirtan movement must be to go on preaching without restriction. That is the way in which Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu introduced this Sankirtan movement to the world. Translation: not considering who asked for it and who did not, nor who was fit and who unfit to receive it. Caitanya Mahaprabhu distributed the fruits of devotional service. Ganam ganam salakaya saksush unmilitan jena tazmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Buddhare Swanupam Karamaya. Vanchakalpatrubhishna Kripa Sindhuve Patitanam Pavanivyo Vaishnavyo. A very famous ecstatic verse for the Hare Krishna movement. The characteristics of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are highlighted very much in this verse. His magnanimity, his very kind nature. Krishna comes in many incarnations, avatars, and displays different characteristics and different missions. And this is described throughout the Bhagavatam. We see that, and Nor Nishringadev, he comes and we see what Krishna is like when he's angry. You know, he dramatically changes his appearance, and he's also honouring the benedictions of Lord Brahma. He comes in that extraordinary form of half man, half lion. It's like when we get angry, we also change our characteristics. Generally, our facial features at least change, and our bodily language changes. So when Krishna becomes angry, he dramatically changes, and that's all he does. And when Lord Nishringadev manifested, you can see even the demigods and even Lakshmi herself were frightened by this ferocious form. He was so angry. So it's different manifestation of the characteristics. When Krishna comes, he comes to deliver the devotees or give pleasure to the devotees by his association and kill the demons. That's the two main activities of Krishna. Paritana sadhunam, vinacharya sadhushkritam. Those two things. And the devotees are very fortunate. They're generally all already qualified devotees that come and associate in his take part in his pastimes. They're either eternal devotees that come with him from the spiritual world, or demigods that come to assist, and the rest are made up by siddhas or perfected devotees that have reached that point where they're able to re-enter the pastimes of the Lord, and they enter the pastimes. And we see Vamnadev becomes the chief, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is an extraordinary manifestation of Krishna, directly Krishna himself. Krishna Varnam Tushna Krishnam Sangopagasya Prashadam. That is Krishna Varnam is Krishna, but he not the same colour as Krishna. He's not blackish, but he's Krishna. Comes in his golden yellowish form. And this is quite rare, because normally Krishna is Tri-yuga, and he comes in 3 yugas, doesn't come in Kali Yuga. So there's one particular day of Lord Brahma, 1 yuga, cycle of yugas out of 1,000 cycles of yugas. Directly after the appearance of Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears. Very special, very, very rare and very, very special incarnation. Prabhupada says Krishna is very kind, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is more kind. It's interesting, huh? It's the same person. So what is that? So he's manifesting this magnanimity. Magnanimity means charitable, kind, forgiving. It's like and people can be that way. It's a quality. When Krishna manifests qualities, he manifests them in the grand, most wonderful way, like to the max, you could say. And in this particular visit, Krishna was thinking himself, it's been a while, this is mentioned in the earlier chapters of this Adi-lila, it's been a while since I've given away my special mercy, my special love that only I can give. Other avatars and incarnations cannot give this special type of bhakti, very rare bhakti, very special, that's available only in Braj, in Vrindavan. This is, he thinks to himself, it's been a while since I've given this, and so I'm going to, and then he comes as Lord Chaitanya. So he comes it's explained as external reasons why he comes. The loud calling of Advaita Acharya, the very loud calling, he came for that reason. He came to inaugurate the Yuga Dharma of the Sankirtan, inaugurating the Sankirtan movement, but he also specifically came to distribute this special kind of devotional service, which is mentioned here, very, very rare, and hardly ever gotten. And interesting enough, he's bringing it to Kali Yuga, to the most unqualified living entities, not considering you asked for it and you did not, nor you was fit or unfit. Right? Krishna, he had some terms, he said first you surrender. You have to surrender to Krishna. And we see in Krishna's pastimes, they're not out there preaching, they're enjoying relishing their association in their transcendental pastimes, and the rest of the time he's out there just killing those demons, and he kills a lot of them, So, there's the major demons that we hear of, Kamsa and Aghasura and the rest, and Jarasandha and this one and that one, but there's also millions and millions of smaller demons in the form of Kshatriyas that are also wiped out by the Lord. He does a lot of serious killing. It's quite, and some people can find that difficult to take in, that God goes out and slaughters millions of people. But in that particular, and he does it for the benefit of the demigods and the universal order. There was very powerful demons, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't kill. He gives freely to the unqualified people of Kali Yuga. This is an extraordinary thing. So, and the sum and substance, Prabhupada says, of what Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement, this is it, to go out without discrimination and create situations to engage people in Krishna consciousness. Because ultimately, Krishna and Lord Chaitanya cannot be understood unless you perform devotional service. So I was thinking about this movement that Lord Chaitanya inaugurated, because the holy name, the names of Krishna were always there, they're eternal. There was people chanting before Lord Chaitanya came, so it's not that he came to give the holy name, he came to inaugurate the Sankirtan movement, to create this powerful movement which is spread throughout the world and is predicted to spread all over the universe, and give the opportunity of the most fallen conditioned souls to achieve the highest possible goals. Because there's different levels of spiritual achievements that you can achieve. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was discussing this with Ramananda Roy, they were going through different stages. First was Varnashram, and that was rejected as external. Then eventually he moved his way up, Yat Karoti Nasi, that all that you do, all that you eat and give away, you do for Krishna. This is from Bhagavad Gita, very important verse. Prabhupada has been quoted as the most important verse. And he said, no, tell me more, go higher and higher. He went through the highest realms of spiritual understandings, right up to the love and devotional service of the Braj Bhaktis, and then the Gopis, and ultimately Srimati Radharani, the topmost, and that's it. He's reached the topmost levels of spiritual achievements and understandings. Like Adi-lila Prabhu was saying a couple of days ago, with the cause, he was explaining that if you want to find out the cause of something, you keep asking your father, who's your father? You ask him, who's his father? You keep going. You eventually get to the end. You get to the cause of all causes, Krishna. There's nothing beyond this. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is given the topmost spiritual understanding. There's nothing beyond this. It's not that you can find anything else. There's different stages along the way, yes, but this what he's presenting and giving freely is, and what is the product exactly that he's giving? And he mentions this in other places, especially in this last pastime that we read a couple of chapters ago on the deliverance of the Mayavadi sannyasis, who were considered the most envious and sinful, to be offensive actually to the Lord. They denied the existence of the Lord and claimed to be God themselves, and everything is nothing, and the concocted, manipulated philosophy by Sankaracharya. Even to those people, he went personally and delivered them, like that. So these are not an ordinary living entity, ordinary avatar. He's not actually described in the Caitanya Bhagavatam as avatari. So avatari means the source of all avatars. So Lord Chaitanya is the source of everything. He's actually Krishna himself. He comes personally. And he comes in this combination of Radha and Krishna. And Srimati Radharani is the very most compassionate, kindest personality you can even imagine. She's so kind. So in that mood of compassion, and we saw even he did get angry at one point. We have the pastimes of Jagai Madai. And it's interesting enough, Jagai Madai committed such huge amounts of sinful activities that it's described that the scribers for Yamaraj couldn't keep up. They were getting sore hands. Can you imagine? We can't imagine, because we know some sinful activity, but they committed every single variety of sinful activity you could perform, including rape and murder and theft and on it goes. I don't know what else they did, but it's described these things they did. So, but even that wasn't an impediment for receiving Lord Chaitanya's mercy. What was an impediment is when Madai was committed an offence to Nityananda. That became very serious, very, very serious. To the point the only time in this pastime you could say Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lost his cool or forgot his purpose. He summoned his chakra, Sudarshan, which he normally uses for cutting demons' heads off in other manifestations. But not in this manifestation. He's not here for that purpose. He's here to deliver the demons. But in that case, this pastime is very important to understand that sinful, what we used to call them, meat-eating karmis and people that are doing all sorts of horrible things out there, they can be very easily forgiven by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, very easily forgiven. But offenders and offences to devotees, that's a different story. You have to be very, very careful. So when Jagai was delivered very easily by Lord Chaitanya, it was Jagai, wasn't it? Because he tried to stop Madai. He actually tried to stop him from throwing a broken clay pot at the head of Lord Nityananda. He'd already thrown it once, he was going to do it again. He'd drawn blood. This made Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so angry. He was ready, but he was very happy with Jagai for that act, and immediately accepted him, embraced him, and gave him love of Godhead, pure devotional service on the spot. But Madai said no. He said, you're going to have to go to Lord Nityananda and beg for his forgiveness, which he did, and he received the kindness and mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, and he was also delivered. So there's nobody, and this pastime is very important, there's nobody unqualified to receive the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, especially the mercy of Lord Nityananda in this age. And that's why it's mentioned here, to preach with no distinction. Because sometimes for those that have been on book distribution from time to time, I remember when Caritamrita Prabhu was taking me for a short time to Mullumbimby to do books, and sometimes you can mental out when you're doing books. You start to measure up the people, you know, is this person going to take one or not? And I said to myself, I'm just going to just hit him up, you know. And this Aboriginal man comes along with a can of alcohol in his hand, you know, I'm going to hit him up. And he was a real nice chap, you know, he's very interested, and took a bucket again and gave me a donation. So it's like that. So there's no discrimination, anyone can take. And it says here, if, you know, fit or unfit, and knowingly or unknowingly. Did I say that, or am I saying that? Knowingly or unknowingly. And we've experienced that through our preaching. Harinam Sankirtan is a classic example. When devotees go enthusiastically chanting, you see that so many people partake knowingly or unknowingly, but what they don't know is their material existence is finished as soon as they start chanting the holy name, by the mercy of the devotees and ultimately by the mercy of Lord Caitanya. On the order of Lord Caitanya, the devotees go out, people hear, and especially those that partake, even whimsically or jokingly, and this is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, even if you chant Hare Krishna for musical fun, for a bit of a joke, you could say, you get the full benefit of you're liberated, instantly liberated. Liberated means all your karma is gone. Yush. And you need to be on that liberated platform to take up the devotional service. You need to be on that platform. So this movement is extraordinary. It goes out and freely distributes this Krishna consciousness, and also in the form of prasadam. We have all our restaurants, people knowingly, unknowingly, taking prasadam and contributing to the Sankirtan movement. And you may say, well, they're just buying food. No, they're contributing. So Srila Prabhupada said with a microphone, he said, I don't need a microphone, I can speak very loudly. You know. But he said, by using this microphone, I'm engaging the microphone makers in Krishna service. They're benefiting. Interesting, huh? So this, knowingly, unknowingly, this Hare Krishna movement is engaging and giving the opportunity to so many living entities. And the result is hard to comprehend, and very hard to manage on a karmic level, because we're mucking around people's karma here, you know, including ourselves. So how does it all go on? Because karma is very precise. I'll talk briefly about this, because this is called Krishna karma. This is mentioned several places in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It resembles regular karma, but it's not. It's actually not, because our karma has been taken away. You chant the names of Krishna once, and you're karma free. So all those people, they're karma free. So how does it go on? If your karma is gone, how do people interact? Because the interaction of people is an interaction with karma. Every action creates another action and a reaction, and it goes on. It's very difficult to manage. It's actually managed by Krishna, the super soul within the heart. Who else can keep track of it all? It's incredible. And it's very precise. Karma means if you do particular 60 of one thing, the reaction is going to be 60. It's not going to be 59 or 61. It's going to be it's a science. You can't adjust it. It's just, that's what it is. It's very strict laws. But Krishna karma is different. Krishna is explained in the 10th canto, and the acharyas in the commentaries tell us that to hide the glories of bhakti, Krishna he utilizes what would have been our karma, for our benefit. So it's adjusted, right? And that keeps the show on the road. It looks all like it's all going on karmically, but it's actually different. And that's why the devotees need to understand this, because it's personally managed by the Lord. That's the difference. Other karma is managed by the material energy, goes on automatically. But Krishna karma, Krishna personally takes an interest in the living entity, because they've approached him, they've chanted his name, they've performed some service, knowingly or unknowingly. He takes control of their lives. And Krishna karma means he adjusts. So if it would have been 60, he might give you 10, or he might give you 120. Is this what's required for you is given? That's why when we receive what seemingly seems like karma, something bad happens in our life, or we may get sick or have an accident, or whatever it is, we see it as Krishna's arrangement and Krishna's blessings, and ultimately Krishna's embrace. And we're happy about it, we're joyful. That's why devotees are never affected by the dualities of this world, because they see Krishna's hand in everything. Everything that happens to us, Krishna. And if you have that consciousness, you're always happy, because you see Krishna, He's taking care of me, He's giving me this situation because I need it. It's for my purification. It's so that I can come closer to Him. He's bringing me closer to Him by this arrangement. And the materialistic person, they curse God when something bad happens, isn't it? What did He do this to me? Blame and complain. And when something wonderful happens in their life, they take all the credit. And the devotees is the opposite. Anything wonderful, so-called wonderful in our life, we always acknowledge Krishna's kindness and mercy. And any negative thing or painful situation, so-called painful, and then we take responsibility. We see that as our sinful reactions being manifest, but in this case directly directed by the Lord. So we see Krishna in every situation. Prabhupada said in one lecture that the back of Krishna, what did he say? The back of Krishna, that's the nasty things in this world is the back of Krishna, the negative things of this world. And the front of Krishna is all the positive things. And for a devotee, whether he sees the front of Krishna or the back of Krishna, he's happy to see Krishna either way. Like that. So we're happy to see Krishna in any manifestation in our lives. And the main thing is to try and become Krishna conscious as much as possible ourselves, and simultaneously whatever we have, we distribute to others, we give. And this is the essence of the Hare Krishna movement. It's a movement that's only concerned with the conditioned souls. And all the facilities that are created in ISKCON are simply for that. Nothing else. All this hard work that the devotees do on this farm is simply to facilitate engagement of ourselves in devotional service, so we remain fixed in Krishna consciousness, and also give that very same opportunity to others. Anyone who walks through that gate at the front gets the same opportunity as a devotee that's been around for 40, 50 years. Very same opportunities are given. There's no discrimination that, he's advanced, he's this, he's that, or they're not qualified. Everyone's given, obviously if they become a bit of a disturbance, then they may have to move on. But otherwise, everyone's welcome and given a chance to perform devotional service, to engage in kirtan, to take prasadam. Isn't it? We all get the same opportunity. And this is the wonderful mercy, magnanimity of Caitanya, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees. He doesn't come alone. He comes with a big roadshow, and they're so extraordinary. And by studying and reading Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, you'll discover all these wonderful devotees that are very much part of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. It's interesting. So he's considered the hidden incarnation. He's not, even the Bhagavatam, when you read the first canto, third chapter, Krishna, the source of all incarnations, they're all listed, all the prime incarnations. And then gets to Dwapara Yuga, Krishna, Balaram, and then Kali Yuga, Lord Buddha is mentioned, and then skips to Kalki. There's no Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's not mentioned, just briefly mentioned, right down later on in the 11th canto when King Nimi is inquiring from the nine Yugendras in this famous verse, Krishna Varnam, Twishna Krishna, Sangopa Krishna, that Krishna comes, he's always chanting the names of Krishna, he's not blackish, but he's Krishna himself. He comes with his associates, his servants, his astras, which is confidential servants, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita, they're all part of his entourage. And the intelligent person in this age, they'll take up this process of Sankirtan by the mercy of Chaitanya. So this is I guess this verse is talking about the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how wonderful it is, and no qualification is required. Imagine that. You can be given the highest, it's like going to university, and to the topmost university, the most difficult degree and PhD you can do, and master's degree, and you don't need any qualification. You walk in the door and they just give it to you. That's it, you're done deal. Isn't it? Does this happen anywhere? In any situation, any occupation, and you walk into a bank, all the money is yours. There's the keys to the safe, buddy. This is Caitanya Mahaprabhu. He's basically given the topmost valuable thing, right? Most valuable thing that there is can't be evaluated. You can't put an actual value to it because it's beyond valuation. It's the topmost Krishna praying, and not just any Krishna praying. This special, sweet love that the devotees in Vrindavan have for Krishna, which is very, very unique, very intimate. And this is what Caitanya Mahaprabhu is giving. You know, even if you're not qualified, he's giving you this. You might say, well, where is it? He's giving it to me. How come I don't have it? You have it. You just haven't realised it. That's all. You just need to. We need to wake up a little bit more. That's all. Someone may put a very valuable gift on your bed, but if you're asleep, it doesn't mean the gift is not there. It just means you're asleep. You got to wake up. Like on Christmas Day. If you don't get out of bed, you don't get Santa Claus's presents. You've got to get out of bed and unwrap them. So the getting out of bed is waking up to Krishna consciousness, and the unwrapping is taking up the process. And it's twofold. Personally, we take the process ourselves. Seriously, we chant Hare Krishna as best as possible, because it's interesting. Such a simple process, and at the same time can be so difficult. You've just got to chant and listen. Srila Prabhupada was asked, what about the mind? He said, what mind? You chant and you listen. It goes from the mouth to the ears, but still so much difficulty. That little short journey, right? From there to there, so much happens in between with that crazy mind of ours. Hey? You almost want to shoot the damn thing, huh? Go away. But anyway, I've lost track now. But anyway, we have to take that mind of mine. It's taken over. We have to chant as best as we can, take the process and simultaneously give it to others, not be miserly and hang on to it, go and hide under a tree somewhere and just chant, grab your plate prashadam and hide under another tree and eat. This is miserly. We like to share. When you experience the pleasure of Mahaprashadam, it's nice to take amongst devotees and you go, wow, you've got to try this thing. This is so nice. So this Krishna consciousness is so nice, we've received it with no qualification, at no price. It'd be very miserly not to give it to someone. It's not going to cost us anything. We already got it, it's been given to us. And very interesting that sometimes we talk about Krishna's incredible reservoir, that so many universes and things can come out of Krishna and he still remains full. We use this simple equation, 1 minus 1 equals 1, isn't it? When we explain Krishna's amazing capacity. 1 minus 1 equals 1. Doesn't matter how much you take, he still remains in full. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, that treasure house of love of God that's been cracked open by Chaitanya, by Gaunitai, by Sri Panchatattva, is different. So if you take some out of there, it's not 1 minus 1. There's different equations being given. You take 1 out and there's 2 there. It increases. The more you distribute Krishna's mercy, the kindness that we've received to other people, and that can be in so many ways, by speaking to people nicely, giving them a book, inviting them to the temple, giving them prasadam, acting politely in a public arena, so they think this is such a nice person, they think favourably of the devotee, instead of thinking this is some weird freak or being offensive to us. So everything we do for the benefit of others. Like that. So this is the business of the Hare Krishna movement, is to take the mercy and distribute the mercy. Not considering who asked for it, who did not, nor who is fit, who is unfit to receive it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu distributed the fruits of devotional service to all. So that's all. I think I can say a lot more, but I'll just read these little verses that you know this. We read yesterday. Tiny little purport. This is verse 18, and Dhammadas spoke on it, mentioned it, repeated it. Thus the branches of the Chaitanya tree, because this chapter is about all the different branches of Lord Chaitanya's tree, all his devotees. The Chaitanya tree form a cluster or society with great branches covering all of the universe. And Prabhupada says, our International Society for Krishna Consciousness is one of the branches of the Chaitanya tree. So it's nice, So we are part of the Chaitanya Caritamrita. It's still going on. Don't think this happened 500 years ago. It's over now. It's very much alive. And by Srila Prabhupada's grace, we are part of this extraordinary movement. We've got to wake up as much as we can. We've got to unwrap our presence, the love of God, by following the process. And one day we realise our gift, and we become extremely grateful that we just want to give it to everybody. That's the ultimate realisation. Is that all right? There's 10 minutes left for those that want to comment, correct, or ask any questions.
Hare Krishna. I just wanted to ask it says that Krishna consciousness movement will spread over the world and the universe. So let's say in the world, okay, we are there and we're supposed to do our duty.
You want a flying saucer, right?
What happened in the universe?
What happens in the universe? Well, there's devotees of Lord Caitanya all over the universe, is how we can understand it. Planet Earth is not the only place where there's devotees. I don't know if someone can correct me on this, but I've even heard that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj went to the moon. Anyone heard that? Some people say, anyway. Yes, so why not? Why can't the devotee? And Narada Muni travels all over the universe, to every planet. He travels all over. He's a devotee. He's aware of the Lord Chaitanya. So why can't these teachings and this Harinam Sankirtan be preached everywhere? It's only if we think the Earth is the only planet, everywhere else is dust and rocks, and our scientists, that's all they can find. They bring back rocks. Keep getting to spend $10 trillion to bring back a bucket of rocks. Expensive rocks. No, there's living entities everywhere, and there's devotees everywhere. Our head of our Sampradaya, Lord Brahma, he's a devotee. He came also and participated in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. Who did he come as? Namacharya Shrayas Thakur. And Lord Chaitanya taught through his devotees. He taught the glories of the holy name through this manifestation. So the knowledge is there. And the demigods, they're not ignorant. The demigods that's described, they were coming to Mother Sachi's house while she was pregnant with Lord Chaitanya. They knew that Lord Chaitanya was coming. So they're in the know. So the appearance of Lord Chaitanya and his mercy is known throughout the universe. How it's spread, how it all works, that I don't know, unless it's written somewhere, but we can understand at least from that information. Somebody else? I think this chappy had his... Anyway. Age before beauty.
Isn't one of the mechanisms that spreads all over the universe by sound vibration?
Yes.
That the sound penetrates the covering of the universe, and the sea, because sound is a mystical thing. It's not just limited by. It can penetrate. It can, and because part of the aspect of sound is that it's perceived by the person that's been directed towards. So Krishna, he hears it. He hears it. We're calling here, which is in the heart. He can hear it. So in other places, then you also hear, oh, Krishna's been glorified, let's go down.
Okay. That's a very good point, yeah. The holy name is transcendental and all-powerful and can penetrate all aspects of all parts of the universe. And that's mentioned in many places when they used to have these big kirtans, that the sound would go through the whole universe. Like that, and purify all. Someone got the microphone. Go ahead, please. Switch it on the sideways.
Thank you, Class Guru. So you're saying that we have the topmost perfection of life. We have Raja Prem, that's what Krishna, Lord Chaitanya is giving. We just haven't realised it yet. And therefore, once one attains realisation, it becomes magnificent, which is the quality of Lord Chaitanya, and therefore he goes and freely distributes in the same nature. So, if one acts on the principle before he attains realization, does that catalyze the coming of the realization?
Catalyze, yeah, I guess that's our process. We fake it until we make it. we follow the process. It's sometimes the simple descriptions are given. It's like a child learning to walk, you know. You'll be walking along and falling over, walking along, falling over. Eventually you'll be walking. It's almost a transition that's almost not noticeable from practicing Krishna consciousness to realizing Krishna consciousness to becoming pure devotee. It's just it's an ongoing process, and there's never an end to it either. Our love for Krishna is ever increasing. Yeah. So, repeat the last part of your question again.
So, if by realization of one's gift of prema given by Lord Chaitanya to each and every person who's chanting Hare Krishna, if one acts on the principle, that by attainment of prema, one whenever something distributes it freely to other devotees. Does this, even though we don't have the realization yet on the principle, does it catalyze the coming of the realization?
Absolutely. Yeah. You have a look at the Hare Krishna movement. Look what the devotees did in the early days. They've been around for 6 months. Prabhupada go to this country, open a temple. So simply, we also remember we're under the auspices, the blessings of the Parampara of Srila Prabhupada and the predecessor Acharyas. So when you act, you're acting on their order. So then the power, it flows through that. Even though you might not be. It's like the electricity flows. As long as you're plugged into the power point, your light bulb is going to come on, whether you realise it or not. As long as you remain plugged. So because we are plugged into the Parampara, we're acting on their order. We might not quite understand what we're doing perhaps, but by acting under the order, then we'll become purified and we will realise it in time. So the whole process is packed into one process. Yeah, what's your time? Enough to use one more.
Prabhu,
Oops.
can you have a go at the thing you
Sorry
said?
about
It's very interesting that Lord Chaitanya is more kind, although being Krishna himself.
Yeah.
Would you have a go at that? You said it was very interesting.
Yeah, well, actually, funny enough, I listen to Srila Prabhupada every day, and he was talking about that this morning. I've got the thing going all the time. We're at those arrival lectures, and he was at that famous, I think it's Miami or Atlanta. Have you all heard that Atlanta arrival lecture? I should have brought it. It goes for about 2 minutes. And Srila Prabhupada talks about the kindness of Lord Chaitanya. Prama Karuna. Mentions you.
That would have been Atlanta.
It was Atlanta. And he starts speaking about and he says, and he starts crying. He says, Lord Chaitanya is so, so kind. And he breaks up. And please take shelter, Lord Chaitanya. He's so, so kind. And Srila Prabhupada's breaking up, saying that words. He's so, so kind. And he said earlier, before that, he was saying that Krishna is kind, but Lord Chaitanya is more kind. Because of this, you don't have to qualify. Because if we had to qualify, we'd be unqualified. We wouldn't be here. There'd be no way. For simply on our merit and our wonderful birth and activities and austerities and lack of sinful activities, this room would be empty. The whole movement would be empty. So that's the difference. Krishna, he said a standard. First you surrender. You have to be qualified. For Krishna, you have to be qualified. Lord Chaitanya has no qualification, and he gives freely, unfit, fit or unfit. So that's kind. That's magnanimous. Magnanimous, and that's what I was saying at the start of the lecture. Magnanimous from the material point of view means charitable, kind, forgiving. But we're talking about Krishna, and Krishna does things he does in a grand way. He's super kind, super forgiving, and super merciful to the conditioned souls of Kali Yuga. That's the difference.
Just a comment, Prabhu, if you allow me. Yeah, we going there?
Yeah.
So I was at the Atlanta Hunting Festival in 1999. Jayapataka Maharaj was there with Bhakti Swarup, Damodar Maharaj, and other great stalwart devotees. It was hundreds and hundreds. They had a wonderful 3-day festival. Jayapataka Maharaj in the kitchen cooking up many of the chip rice preparations. And then anyway, he gave that pastime about Prabhupada stopping the kirtan, choking up. He couldn't continue. He had tears in his eyes. He asked the kirtan to continue. We had this whomping, stomping kirtan that day with Jayapataka Maharaj with the big whompers. 200 or 300 devotees or more in the Atlanta temple room, and a tear was seen on Prabhupada's Murti. And if you ask any of the senior Prabhupada men or anyone that's at this festival, they can concur with this. So it was amazing that the deity manifested in that festival, a similar thing that happened in actuality. That's my comment. Thank you, Professor Hare Krishna.
Very quickly finish. You had a half a question. You want to say something? Because we've got literally 1 minute.
Just a very, because you mentioned that.
Grab the microphone, please. There's people outside. So I heard her say a thing, and you say, is yours a quick question?
I'm curious because did you mention that Adi-lila went to the moon?
I heard that, but I mean, where did I hear that? I don't know where I heard that. Someone said it. Who that person is? Somewhere says it.
It's not official.
No, do not quote me on this. No, it was a significant statement when I heard it. That's why I remembered it. But I can't remember the reference, to be honest with you. I probably shouldn't have said it. Not proper. No.
On the full moon you can see that.
There you go. He sees him on the full moon.
You can see what?
You can see Bhaktisiddhanta. He just said. He's got a good telescope. This boy, he wanted to say one last thing quickly because we're going to miss out soon. The serious part of the day is coming up.
So, just to the point that I was questioning before, you used the term that's spoken around in the Hare Krishna movement, which is that we fake it till we make it.
Been doing that for a while. Yep.
So does it constitute faking if you've heard a principle from an authority and you act accordingly?
No, faking till you make it as an expression. It's not literally saying that. It means we try our very best. Yes. No, that's what you're saying is correct. Yeah. We're not faking. It's making a point that we're not qualified and we're trying our best. I'll just quickly.
The devotees get carried away and they literally fake it.
Yes, you might all find this interesting. The term Tri Yuga, Krishna doesn't come in Kali Yuga. And that's what Caitanya Mahaprabhu is an exception actually, because an avatar Krishna doesn't come in Kali Yuga. And I read you this, I was reading this yesterday. This is from the Bhagavatamrita from Srila Rupa Goswami. This is from the very beginning. Is it really? No, it's got the wrong one. No, this is the right one. Okay, so just have a listen to this, even though we're over time. So I'm using technology that I'm not very good at. It says here that the Supreme Lord Hari manifests his form in 3 ages beginning with Satya, but not in Kali Yuga. Thus he is called Tri Yuga. This statement of the Vishnu Dharma Purana does not indicate that Lord Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not manifest his own form in Kali Yuga. It's interesting, it says the opposite. And the rest of this little purport, which is very short, by Srila Rupa Goswami himself, he says here, the avatar for Kali Yuga is usually a specially appointed jiva. Okay, so it's not Vishnu Tattva. Specially appointed jiva who, according to Smriti Shastra, generally has a blackish complexion. Lord Chaitanya, however, appears in just one specific Kali Yuga out of the 1,000 in each day of Brahma, which we spoke about. He is Pitta-Vana form of the original. He is the Pitta-Vana form of the original Supreme Lord, mentioned by Gargamuni. When he descends, the Krishna Varnam Avesh, which would be the schedule Avesh empowered Jiva, the Krishna Varna Avesh incarnation for Kali Yuga unites with him. Interesting, huh? You heard that before? So, anyway, I thought especially for our seniors, they would appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you so I've gone over time, but I apologise for that. I wanted to share that. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Caitanya Caritamrita, Gaur Premanandi. Gaur Premanandi.